So this is the third tank that I had put on this table. The first one was called Red Wagtail or Red Wag. The second one was the Blood Red or Blood Red Fin or Blood Red Fin Tetra. And this one is the Ember Tetra. They're very similar in design, except for this one. This one, they're all similar in design. Basically use the same stone, use the same wood. The only thing I did with this tank though is I had used glue. I had glued a lot of thin sticks that came with this package of driftwood, and purposely glued them on there to look like part of the root system of a dead tree. I got some pieces sticking out, as you can see. I had glued some epiphytes. I glued some epiphytes to it and submersed, and I had put in some Java fern, some other epiphytes, some Java fern, yes, and some floating plants, very similar, same gravel pretty much, a little bit of hair grass there, and just again, the third, this is a dirt tank, it's all I do. I use dirt, I put root tabs in it, or I crush root tabs up and mix it in with the soil. I cap all my tanks with sand. I will buy some decorative sand with different colors. I will mix the sand with other different texture sands. But this one, basically, I wanted to have the feeling that all three tanks kind of have the same plants in it, kind of migrate from one tank to the other. I also have potted plants or plants that are immersed from the tank with the white roots, I call them white root houseplants. They do exceptionally well. Small little filter, a decent little light, and I have the roots growing in the water with the the white root plants, house plants, to pull nitrates out. This tank, as well as the other two, it's basically in the neighborhood of around 5 or 6 weeks now. I had to let it cycle for a couple weeks. I added some snails immediately. I just put in some ghost shrimp to kind of help with the cleanup crew. I'm not ready to put expensive shrimp in there yet. I think the ghost shrimp work just fine. They have a bio load. Snails do as well. And then I added the Ember Tetras, and I put in some albino Cory cats as well. So it's stocked now, and I did that, periodically. I added the 3 or 4 the Ember Tetras, and then I added another 4 or 5. So I have about 8 or 9 in here. They're tiny, tiny fish, so it's the equivalent of maybe having 3 fish. And then the Cory cats are, these albinos are a little bit bigger than the emerald green I had in the other 2 videos that I did of these tanks. Not much more to say about it, not a long video, but very pretty. I like the floating plants. I have to keep pulling those out, but I like to keep it a little loaded with floating plants initially because it helps with that pulling of nitrates and nitrites. The nitrites get converted to nitrates, and that gets pulled out by the floating plants. It acts as a filter. Really works well. I like to use small little filters, mechanical, biological, has a little bit of, I modify all my filters, has a little bit of ceramic pieces in it, the ceramic rings to cultivate some beneficial bacteria. I used API's Quick Start. And again, I dechlorinate with API Stress Coat. So that's pretty much it. The tanks are good. I should have cleaned them before I did these videos, but I really don't want to disturb them too much. I just want to let them sit, and I'll get in there and clean the glass with a nice sponge, and get some of the algae that's on the front. Makes it look a little less clear. Pretty good though. It looked pretty good. This one is a little foggy. Just slightly foggy, just not bad, slightly, and that will correct itself over time. I don't like fooling around with tanks too much. Don't fix what isn't broken, people. Kind of leave it. I may do a very small water change, but I like to just leave everything and let it find its balance. Let it cycle to a point where it starts to get into balance. And if you're going to pull something out like floating plants, you got to be aware of that. So just do it a little bit at a time. If you're going to add fish, add it a little bit at a time. If you're going to, plants you can go crazy with, the plants that you want to have in your tank. I didn't put a lot of plants in. I put in some plants I had in other tanks. I did some trims and some trimming. I keep plants in a separate holding container with a light on it and a small filter just to keep some movement. I throw snails in there. I throw in the API quick start so we get some beneficial bacteria, get everything going and get them fed. But that's really my story. Again, dirted plants, capped with sand. Used glue here, which is not normal for me. I like to avoid using glue, but it needed it here. It needed it here for all those little sticks to be put on. The epiphytes, I wedged in between some of these little branches. It looks like the roots coming down from a dead tree that kind of found its way into the riverside or riverbed or lakeside or however you want to look at this or view this. Again, this is my Ember Tetra with some ghost shrimp and some albino cory cats. I will be doing some more videos. Till then.